Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will be the fifth installment in the Indiana Jones franchise. So we're going to go back like we did before with the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now we're going to look at Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Kalima.
Ah, that's funny. Very funny.
Not very funny.
Welcome back to A Tale of the Two Bros. I am Angel,
I'm Adon.
where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert! I just finished watching or rewatching Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, streaming currently now on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Even though it came out as a sequel, this is actually a prequel to the original. This takes place a year before 1935, again directed by Steven Spielberg, story by George Lucas, also produced by George Lucas. Returning as Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford, but now we have as the love interest Kate Capshaw, who I believe met Steven Spielberg on this film, and then love romance happened there, whatever, and they got married. Happens. And then you have the introduction of Ke Hu Kwan. We know him as from the Goonies, Everything Everywhere All at Once. He made his comeback. He did some other short films or independent films. He was a fight director or choreographer for a while. He did a fight choreography for X-Men, the original one. You also have here as the bad guys, you have Amrish Purdy, Rashawn Seth. And you also have Roy Chow, and we know Roy Chow from where?
It's escaping me, but as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I know this guy, and I just couldn't put it. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Bloodsport.
Oh my god,
He's from the Tadashi clan.
he is the Tadashi.
Right. But also he was in Game of Death, a Bruce Lee film, and he was also on the cutting room floor in Enter the Dragon, also starring Bruce Lee. He was a monk,
Hey,
where he and Bruce Lee have a conversation. He's one of the bad guys in Jackie Chan's The Protector.
oh yeah.
You remember him, right? Yeah. So this guy's been acting quite a while in many things. He's a
Yeah.
famous, popular Asian actor in Hong Kong, but he has a lot of roles here. But also you have here is Rick Young. He plays Bruce Lee's father in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Yeah.
Wow.
You also have another Asian actor. He's a British actor, David Yip. He's been in here and there, but he was the not the sidekick, but he was the guy who got shot.
Yeah.
You know, he got shot. He was in Pete's friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in also, but he's like been in a lot of British production films or shows, what have you.
Okay.
But DPDD also was there, and I didn't realize it until I saw it today.
Was it one of the brothers?
Brothers, which brothers?
The Asian brothers. The two sons. Oh, okay.
I'm talking about after that. It's quick. Like if you weren't paying attention,
I was not. I'll tell you right now because I've not drawn an image.
Dan Aykroyd.
Whoa! Dan Aykroyd. I almost coughed it off camera. That caught me off guard. That really caught me off guard.
Aykroyd.
He was there?
He was Weber. He was the liaison for the plane.
Oh my
He's like, Dr.
god.
Jones, we have the plane for you, blah, blah. He had an English accent. Yes.
I thought I recognized that I wasn't paying attention. And then I'm like, man, his voice sounds
I
familiar.
rewound it 3 times
Jesus.
to see it because I was like, that voice sounds so familiar. I was like, look, I was like, because it's real quick. His head turns to the camera and then like back to Indy. It's hard to really know. But then you look at it. Then I went to IMDb and lo and behold, it is Dan Aykroyd. He's done that before in other productions where he just has a line or two and he's done.
That was well before Ghostbusters.
Well, I don't know, but he was a well-known performer, actor from Saturday Night Live, from the Blues Brothers, from other stuff with
Yeah.
Jim Belushi. Jim or John? John Belushi? John Belushi, sorry.
Well, they were brothers, Jim and John.
Right, but at the time, like they did a lot of movies together, him and John Belushi. On Rotten Tomatoes, 76% scored by the critics, 82% by the audience.
It is
I can
iconically marked as the one of the least Indiana.
Right. But this movie is so entertaining. I found myself like enthralled and enticed, like I was in it. Is it like the first one? No.
No.
But There are some little plot holes here and there. I mean, it's like nitpicking the stuff that I didn't like. It's just more like nitpicking or continuity issues that didn't make sense to me, but it was just very
Oh, yeah.
subtle. Because what we see in Raiders of the Lost Ark and what we see here is like a callback to Raiders of the Lost Ark, even though this supposedly happened first,
True.
because it's a year before.
But then it raises questions because of that.
Right. Now, a couple things I didn't mention from our first review or our review of Razor Lost Ark is that he is Indiana Jones. That is a combination of James Bond and Batman.
I can see where you get that.
For the thing of the James Bond with this, the suaveness, every time he's on an adventure, it's a new villain, just like James Bond.
Eh.
His whip, which is like Batman's grappling hook, that
Mhm.
sticks to everything, which is like not possible, but it works. And
Yeah,
then all he does is this, and it untangles. I was like, "How is that possible?"
it's a flick of the wrist.
Right, and then he has his fedora, which is like his and his jacket is like his cape and cowl.
Mhm. Always has to keep that look.
I'm going deep on that, didn't you? Didn't see you see how see, I know
I thought you see how you tie in.
I usually compare it to Star Wars, but I'm doing a little Batman connection here.
You flip it the script.
Yeah, but don't worry, I'll go back to Star Wars because it's
There is a
a
Star
lot.
Wars reference.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much. Oh, another Batman reference.
The Robbie?
Yes, that's Short Round. Short Round is Robin.
He's like
Short
he's like, "I found him. He was trying to rob me, and I
Who do we know that? Who do we know that from the
that
Batman series?
that's literally Jason Todd. He was trying to steal the
Correct.
Batmobile, and he turned him into a Robin instead."
Exactly right. And does Short Round deliver in saving Indiana? Well, of course, just like Robin has helped Batman save the day, all the stuff. Now,
He did get him in trouble.
only one time that I noticed that he didn't listen to Indy was the one he pulled the lever and the skeletons popped out.
Oh, no, but when he told Indy told him, like, "Follow my steps," and he didn't pay attention, he stepped on the thing. That was twice, my man.
Yeah, but still, he was following him. It wasn't like he was like going off to somewhere else. Like he was right behind him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Granted, no, indie steps and short round steps are not the same. It's a kid. He has a shorter stride.
Oh, absolutely.
But then when he says, "Lean, just go over there, stay against the wall," he just did that. And what happened? He's like, "You told me. I did what you told me. I did it.
And then
Not my fault."
and then Willie shows up and he goes, "See, it was her. She did it. It's her fault." He told her
Right.
how on it. And I'm like,
And
that the movie had humor. That's let's just go into that. 'Cause
yeah, let's go into that because yes, you're right. This had more humor and action than the first one.
yeah.
Far more action,
Mhm.
especially in the third act. The third act is pretty much just all action.
Yeah, it was a solid, like, almost 30 minutes of action.
What was good about that, usually when action is that long, it drains, but I felt myself like in it. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, I didn't get tired. I didn't get bored. I was in it. And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good editing, storytelling, all that stuff. But yeah, let's go into it. So I love the chemistry between Indy and Short Round.
Great chemistry. One of the great scenes I love with an Indian short round, them playing cards.
Yes, 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 yes.
It was it just summed up their relationship together so well. Like, even though, you have Willie yelling in the background, almost to a point of being completely annoying for the scene.
Willie, in my opinion, is the first Karen caught on film. If this movie was coming out today,
Mhm.
she'll be identified as a Karen. Granted, there are other films out there around that time that also identifies, like, off the top of my head, Mel Streep in Kramer versus Kramer, or Shelley Long in Popeye as Olive Oil. But here you have Willie, played by Kate Capshaw, definitely a Karen.
Well, she
And
doesn't
and
know
and and very superficial. Well, yeah, superficial. She wants a diamond. She thinks about money and things of that nature. Now, granted, of course, there are some, the scene of the dining room scene. Ugh, I totally feel for her on that. But everything else is like, ugh,
well, you
um,
you get a great example of what she is when she gets knocked off the elephant, and she explains, like, "This is not my world. I don't
right.
come from this." She's like, I wine and dine, I had a house, I had limo service." Not your average person would even have that world.
No, you're totally right on that. But the thing is, like, through all that,
She still made it.
through all that adventure, she would know. She like kind of leveled out, but then at the end, she went right back to her old ways. You would think that she would have maybe calmed down.
And you know what? All that being said, I gotta give her credit. In a cave, when she finds all those insects like that, I
Oh
know
no,
plenty of people that would have been like, "Indy, you're on your own," and le and left just for the sheer fact of those insects, much less say, "Put your hand inside this thing and, like, grab it," and it's covered in arachnids, insects, and all sorts of green goo
mhm,
that you don't know what it is.
she was annoying. Kim was watching with me. She was like, "Oh my," I was like, "Yeah," but I was like, "But that's how it was back in those days."
Are you talking about, like, back in the days of 1930s?
Right, in the black old black and whites and how, like, movies were done.
Mhm.
Because the opening scene where she's singing and the dancing, it took me back to how the
Oh,
old
yeah.
films, the musical numbers, where it's all lavished and the people are dancing and what have you, and she I don't know if that's her real voice singing. If it was, great job. But yeah, that's old back in the days, like Fred Astaire time
Yeah.
or Gene Kelly, those kind of things, and I thought that was great. Oh, and they also paid tribute to Jackie Chan in that scene, the whole elaborate scene where and I'm sorry for those listening and watching, we're jumping around before we get to the good part, but when Indy and Willie jump out after that spinning dial, whatever they're being shot at,
Yeah.
and using as a shield, they jump out and then land on canopies,
Um,
rips.
what was it?
That's Project A.
That's the movie. I was thinking Meals on Wheels, and I'm like, "No, that's the wrong movie."
It's Project A where Jackie Chan falls from a clock tower, lands on a canopy, rips through like several of them before hitting the ground. And he did that like 5 times.
Indy or Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan
Yeah, no, Jackie Chan is a beast.
did that several times to make sure it gets right because sometimes the canopies would not rip in the right spot.
Mhm.
So they had to do it again, do it again. Let's get back to here because we're just going off to a tangent. Very entertaining, like I said before. It may not be on the same level as Raiders or The Last Crusade, but I definitely enjoyed this.
It's a fun
So
time.
oh, it's good, it's good.
Mhm.
Uh, do you have a favorite moment or scene besides the card scene?
The dining scene when he's talking and they're going over the food, it's just funny to me, and it's
Mhm.
gross and it's funny. Kinda set the some of the tropes more than the original Indiana Jones. Like, I thought though.
Before you go on that, in that dining hall, when they're entering, people are talking and, like, you hear background noise, like
Mhm.
people talking. It sounded very Star Wars to me. It sounded like the guy from, Return of the Jedi. I don't know can't remember the character's name. That was the co-pilot of Lando.
Oh, with the cheeks.
Yes, it sounded like the
He's just
same.
I'm gonna
Anyway anyway, that I'm sorry to distract you on that, but that you were talking about it, so that's what popped in my head, but go ahead.
Okay, so, for example, like, I always remember, like, an iconic scene for Indiana Jones, wall falling down, he has to get underneath it really quick and grab his hat, and watched the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I'm like, "Oh, it's his whip," but then I watched this one, and I'm like, "It's the hat."
The hat.
Has more
Right.
because, like, our in Raiders, you see it from his angle when he grabs the whip, and this one, you just see him grab the hat and almost get his hand caught, and it's a better angle for the audience, and that's, like, an iconic scene. I'm like, "Hey," and then the scene where he's fighting the 2 guys, and I think I remember when we were talking about the Raiders, you're like, "Oh, yeah, there's, like, the shoot the guy was swinging the sword, goes to shoot him."
Oh, you mean the 2-on-1 at the
Exactly,
finale.
and in
Oh,
that one, he reaches and there's no gun,
mhm.
and that's like a Easter egg for the first movie. He beats the one
Right.
guy and chases the other guy, and then he stops and he's like, "Oh," which is Easter egged in a bunch of movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, I think.
Yeah, but before that,
What was
Star Wars.
was that used in Star Wars?
He and Chewbacca are chasing stormtroopers towards the end, and he's chasing, and then he goes to it, like, turns around, turns a corner, and then he's, like, in front of, like, 100 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Like, "Holy crap," and he runs back. Now,
Mhm.
before you continue, again, this takes place both films shortly after the Star Wars trilogy, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi came out in 1980, I wanna say 83?
Okay.
Yeah, 1983, excuse me. And this came out in 1984. So apparently, Raiders of the Lost Ark came in 81. Then comes back to Return of the Jedi, and then he does this again with this, all with George Lucas. And what's funny about that, like George Lucas didn't want Harrison for Star Wars. Harrison was his last. The thing is, he didn't know who he wanted for to play Han Solo, and Harrison was the last choice because he just did a movie with Harrison for American Graffiti.
Oh.
And so George was looking for all new people. And to make ends meet, even though he was a working actor, Harrison Ford, he was a carpenter. So he was doing odds and ends on the lot
Mhm,
while George Lucas was testing with like other actors, like who will play Luke and stuff like that. So George would ask Harrison, "Hey, can you come in and can you just help me run some lines here?"
mhm.
Anyway, it just turned out that he was the best part for the role as Han Solo. And he has such a disdain for Han Solo in the way that he wanted him to die at the end of Empire.
You can see that.
I guess he did so well that George liked him so much overall that he was perfect for Indiana Jones.
Mhm.
So I just find it funny that someone he didn't want, he ended up using several times.
Happy accidents.
Is there any other scenes besides the dining scene that you were mentioning?
I was talking about the iconic scenes. We joked about Kali Ma. That's an extremely iconic scene. It's used in Family Guy. The argument between him and her before bed, which was hilarious. But for me, the most memorable scene is the insects with the ceiling falling in.
Now, for me, what I like about that scene is it's a lot because there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. They're about to die. She's trying to help, but she doesn't want to help, and all this stuff. And she's arguing with him, and you see his hand come out through the hole. It's like, yeah, that one. The camera's on him. It's like, we are about to die. I just want to. And then before she pulls the lever down, those things that the spikes are coming down, and his going right by his head, his fedora folding down, and it was just I just find it funny. And then when is she able to pull the lever because back, he's sitting down and he's just looking at her.
Yeah, short round rant as soon as he had a chance.
Right. Before that, they were fighting because she's getting freaked out by all the insects. She's like, let me in. And Short Round's like, let me out. And it was like,
And he's like, "Shut up."
I mean, right. It is a great scene. I'm sorry. It is a great scene.
What's a great scene for you?
I mean, I do like the card scene in the
Yeah.
jungle because it just seems so natural with those two.
Oh, yeah.
For him, for Ke Kwan, his first role, he
Oh, yeah, that's before
amazing.
Goonies. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was a natural
Mhm, mhm.
on it, and that scene where it just plays so natural. You see him smiling when he gets caught with the ace.
Great chemistry.
Yeah, I liked how they went a little more deeper with Indy's intelligence because he was a great finder of archaeology, but it was a little more in the sense of he was multilingual.
Mhm,
He was able to speak Hindu, able to speak Hindu, excuse me,
mhm.
and understanding. He was translating, like, you hear what bad guy was saying, and he'll be translating once he's possessed, like, 'cause the
Yeah,
when you put the subtitles on, they won't show the subtitles.
that's true. That was bugging me. I was like, I wanna read what they
And I
say.
kinda like that. I kinda like that because it's like the Willie or Short Round, they wouldn't understand.
It's true. They put you in their shoes.
Correct. I also like that they had some still of the, filming technique that they did in Raiders because we like the part where, like, the shadowing
Yeah.
on Indy, and sometimes it had the silhouettes, the shadow. Like when Indy was fighting one of the henchmen and Short Round was watching, you see the two bodies behind him, the shadows that is, they're fighting, and Short Round is just watching the real people.
Speaking of which, of shadows, sorry to cut you off on this part.
No, that's fine.
Did you notice the guy on the wall before he popped out? In the bedroom
No,
when Short Round was asleep. I'm like,
no.
"Yo, my man was a shadow." He did not
You
and he was a big dude, and he just came out of nowhere. I'm like, "Whoa."
no, I didn't notice him until he came out. Of course, I wasn't looking for that.
I know. You would think we would remember because, like, we've seen it before, but
Yeah, I haven't seen this in a while, so
same.
to see that again, you saw him
I saw him just as he popped off the wall.
right before he attacked them, right?
Yeah, but
Oh,
he
no.
was just standing there, and but I didn't see him until he moved.
Oh, so now I gotta look at it again and
He
see
wa
that's one spot
he was
because
literally because the wall is painted with a mural of soldiers.
mhm.
He's just, like,
Mm.
standing like one of the soldiers. It was like a Scooby Doo moment.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, before we go into more, this movie is a little bit longer, about maybe 10 minutes.
It's about an
original.
hour, 15 minutes, I wanna say.
Yeah, hour 58, and the other one's like an hour 45, so a little more than 10 minutes. It flies by, in my
Mhm.
opinion. I do love the stunts, even though some of it is over the top, like in the finale, but
Yeah.
also in the plane when they're jumping out of the plane on that raft.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable, but still cool nonetheless. Because of course there's like dummies inside to give it weight.
Mhm.
Because if they fell and land for real, bones would have been broken.
Oh, absolutely.
That's still cool because the the raft is filling up and able to land flat because that's all one shot. It's not like different edits. It's one shot as it goes down.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, well, maybe right when it lands is a different shot, but for the most part, you see it filling the air filling up. And I like the part where it's a play on words. Instead of saying, I have a bad feeling about this, he says something else. I can't remember right now what he says, but it's in the same tone
Yeah.
when he's in the plane. So, and I looked at Kim, I was like, you know what they did right there, racist again. So it's kind of cute.
not roller coaster,
Well, that's what it looked like. It was definitely a roller coaster.
yeah, that's remember when we were in Orlando? No, I'm sorry. That was I was just on a trip to Orlando, and I
Yeah,
did a
you
virtual
were. I
roller
wasn't there.
coaster. But point is, they do virtual roller coasters, and they base it inspired by this, movie,
Are you
and
serious? Because she said, Kim said that. She's like, and I was like, I think we're on a roller coaster. I was like, I don't remember.
there was one, in,
There's an Indiana Jones roller coaster?
it's not Indiana Jones, they treat it like it's a Wild Wild West kinda situation, and you're trying to stop a bank robbery, but when you're going through it,
Mm.
it's almost shot for shot, like, they just add in a, dastardly guy with, dynamite, but they got the point where the brakes go out, you're just jumping off, you hear the grinding, if you go too fast, you tight tilt, you jump off, you land on another one, and I'm like, "Oh, man, that's copyright infringement."
I would definitely do it. I just know if Kim was on that, she would be screaming worse than Willie. Now, I did like also in the finale, the fight scene where he's fighting a big henchman and that kid has the voodoo doll.
Bro, I was waiting for you to bring that up because I was like, "That's another surprise." It wasn't really a surprise, but I was, like, waiting for this guy to get it, like
Well, no, but what I liked about it was in the sense of choreography and timing,
yeah.
where kid stabs it, he reacts. Now, some of it is editing, like,
Mhm.
where the kid's on one scene, he's boom, and then they cut to Indy, and then he reacts. But there are some times where the kid stabs, and then you see him in the background reacting.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was great. Granted, I didn't understand, like, I mean, I don't know how voodoo works and voodoo doll works, but when it's down on the floor and the needle's still in him, but no one's touching it, I would think, well, since the kid is not connecting physically holding it, that shouldn't work. But I guess I'm wrong. Again, I don't know
Yeah.
about voodoo dolls and stuff like that. But
I mean, some circles believe that power is more in the doll than the host, and, like, I've seen so many versions of horror films where, like,
yeah,
different people will grab the doll and they can still do it. It doesn't have to be the same person. But
right.
it was
But
kinda
regardless,
cool when he's beating the guy and Short Round's
and
doing
the
the
sure rounds being on, yeah, it's the same thing.
same motions.
Yes. Well, you see it earlier where I'm going to call him shaman is probably not the right word to say, where Indy is listening and he does this, and you see it behind him, short round doing the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, Short Round looked at him as like a father figure or big brother.
He
And, like you and I, well, I don't know if you ever copied me, but a lot of that happens when you see someone who inspires you, you want to try to emulate that. And
yeah,
yes, that was a great connection. Kind of, again, Batman and Robin doing the same thing.
yeah, they
So,
do their own things.
but I mean, they do their own things, but they also do things similar.
Exactly. Well, like,
Right.
Robin became Nightwing, so, and, like, the OG Robin, and it's
Mhm.
argued that, like, if Batman ever disappeared, and it's happened a couple times, Nightwing could step in and my 99% of the populace would be like, "That's Batman. No change." Only the people who truly knew him would be like, "You're not Batman."
Well, he did step in for a time.
Yeah, no, that's why like, for a short while, he did it, but
Right. That being
now
said,
other characters do better.
I wonder if Short Round will make an appearance in Dial Destiny because he didn't make an appearance he did not make an appearance in The Last Crusade, nor the other
Or Temple
one.
yeah,
No.
The
I don't
skull.
know, he's in there. Whatever that crystal skull, whatever that thing. I don't really. I'm sorry.
It will be a disservice if they don't have his character in there. Yeah. Let's put it this way. In the Crystal Skull, they're talking about like a son or like and whatnot. He treated Short Round more as a of his kin than he did Shia LaBeouf's character when he first met him, or even by the end of the film.
What? Okay, that one. All right, we're now we're going to go into that. So real quick, Shia LaBeouf is that his character is already his
It's a grown man.
own man.
Yeah,
He's a grown man, so how are you going to connect with that? You miss all that. Where here, Short Round's a
a kid.
kid, child, and he's a little more adaptable. And again, he rescued him. Well, no, he didn't rescue him. Well, you kind of rescue him, but he didn't rescue him. Like caught him picking his pocket. But it's a little bit different, and it's not his blood. We're here finding out that it is blood, and when they had a kid, because the time frame, I don't know what the time frame is, because there's still Nazis there, and they have that kid, and I don't know. The time frame again, like Star Wars, time is irrelevant. The early 40s is when World War II ended. Raiders of the Lost Ark takes place in 1936. He's already an adult. I mean, it just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Unless those Nazis in the Crystal Skull movie are like sympathizers and they're trying to bring back the Nazi regime. Anyway,
I don't
we're off
remember.
that. I don't want to remember.
Let's finish about your favorite scene.
There's no really specific for what I mentioned because the third act is again it's pretty much an action scene. It's nonstop. It's great.
They break it up with a little humor here and there, like water,
Mhm.
water.
Right, and to not to have us fatigued,
Yeah,
action fatigued. So they break it up without water, which is funny because it kind of goes back to the first one where the guy grabbed the medallion.
yeah.
He's like water, water, or something cool to cool off his foot. And the Raiders was the hand. So it's kind of a callback to that in a way because he was kind of moving fast too.
And
And then he's like water, water. He's like, wait a minute, water, water is like coming towards him. The CGI was a little better here than the
mhm,
first one, a little bit. Wasn't that much CGI, it's more like green screen, or back then, blue screen.
true. What'd you think
They're
of the
pretty
villain change?
I love the villains. Again, great actors, great villain like they had in the first one.
I love the fact that they still seem to have fun doing their roles.
Mhm. Yes, and I like the fact they're all controlled because they drank that blood.
Yeah,
Where else is that? Oh, that remind me of, uh, independent film called Kill and Be Killed Again. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's like a low budget martial arts film, and same thing where you drink this blue liquid and they
mhm.
get controlled.
Oh,
Now, this came bef I think this came after that. It's a low budget film, but the action is great. Kill Be Killed Again, yes.
wow. Okay. Sounds familiar, but I can't put a picture to it.
Are there any bad scenes? No. But are there nitpicks? Yes.
Yeah, I agree. There's no openly bad scenes in the movie that I can think of. But yeah, nitpicks is gonna be your high point here. I'll let you
Yeah.
take lead.
Well, before that, I do like the opening scene, besides after the singing, before we go to the nitpicks, is
Oh,
that
the
where
negotiation?
yes, that was beautifully done with the table and
Mhm.
circular, where the camera instead of like the camera going straight to the person or cutting to
They're
the
following the
person,
rotation.
they're following the rotation, they're following the coins, they're following the diamond, they're all that stuff. I just thought that was great, smart. Let's use the props and let the audience follow and stuff like that. I just thought that was really cute. And how like Willie and Indy are through all that fiasco with everything when the shit hits the fan, he's trying to save his life, right? By going after that antidote.
Mhm.
While she is just wants to be rich. She's just earth material. It's two different things, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's more important? Like his life is more important. Where her is about that diamond, her material.
Mhm.
So I kind of like that kind of like contradiction.
Oh, yeah, well, that's you get a taste of that character of her when she's like, "You put 2 holes in this dress I got," and he's literally threatening her life right there,
Right.
and, that's what she's focused on, the dress, but
Mhm.
they it's front and center about what you just described about their dichotomy of what their views are on when they're crawling the floor.
Right. Both going after something that's important to them.
Mhm.
But the nitpicks, here we go. I just find it funny that they go into the city where they
Uh-huh.
meet the prime minister, and there's some people, military sticking around. The town is empty, which I find it weird.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I understand that the kids are gone, but
But where's the people?
where's everyone else?
Yeah.
And we see some high magistrates at the dinner, but the town is desolate.
Mhm.
And then from there, I know Short Round has a bag. The bag is light, it is small. But we see Indy later on with another full suit. He has a bow tie, he has a jacket.
I always thought that was supplied by the people there.
But how they supply a bow tie, that's his thing. And he would not
Yes.
wear, he's dressed as his professor outfit,
It's true. It's true.
right? Before that, you hear him yell to Short Round, "Where's my razor?" He's not shaved when he comes to dinner.
It
He's
is
still at this.
shaved.
Mhm. Oh, and then after he takes the poison, which I don't understand, when he takes the poison and he's going through it and being taken controlled, he's fully dressed.
Oh, you're talking about the potion. Mind control potion.
Potion, right.
Yeah,
And then we see him after that, after he is entrapped, he's shirtless. Why?
I have no
It,
idea.
it made no sense to me
At one
that he's
point, I thought it was
shirtless.
for the ritual, but now that you bring it up, I like maybe it's just like how they do in the Marvel movies. Like you gotta have in the contract have one scene where your shirt's off, my man. You get those crunches going. Do some push-ups.
But yeah, I mean, it didn't make any sense because it didn't serve any purpose except for fanfare, like you said, like you were
Yeah,
mentioning.
because you don't tell me you weren't looking at him and he wasn't straining to flex as he's standing like this because it looked like he was trying to flex the entire time.
Ooh, Indy?
Indy, yeah.
It sounded like you said Andy. I was like, who the hell is Andy?
No, not
Um,
me.
no. Maybe. Oh, but the okay. This has nothing to do with, like, nitpicks. It's just how Harrison runs. He runs like he's in pain. His lower back is in pain.
Oh, like John Wick.
No, but it's different. Like, he runs like he has a beer belly. He's like this, like, it's just something that I just find funny, and he's done that, like, for a long ass time. Also, the cage that goes down into the fire pit, the lava pit, the sacrifice that went in earlier, he got burnt way before he got close to it. Like the heat burned him up and all this stuff.
Yeah,
Willie gets closer than the guy did when he burned up, but she's okay.
she
She's
stays
not
hydrated.
charred. Yeah, she's not sweating. The bars are not hot to the touch, where he just opens real quick and blah blah. Blah. She's not like like the skin is not stuck to her because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the heat of the thing. But she was about 10 feet away when she got the lowest point.
That hair should have
Feet
been
away.
singed.
Hair should have been singed. Her clothes should have been also a little fried there,
Yeah.
but not. And again, the bar should have been like heated up, where she could have been screaming like and having like the. Of course, I'm a little violent. But my other nitpick is when Short Round is hitting the chains to break free, right?
Mhm.
So how does the ankles come off? The anklets.
I noticed that. I was
Oh
like,
my goodness, right. He's
"Hmm."
breaking the chain. Okay, I can understand that. He breaks the chain and he can run freely with the broken chain, but he's hitting the chain and then he's like, I'm free. And
I
the
feel like
ankles
there's a
come off.
deleted scene somewhere.
There is a deleted scene in when he goes to rescue Indy.
Oh, okay.
If you go back to right before Indy hits him,
Mhm,
there's 2 henchmen behind Short Round reacting. One drops, one has, like, his hand like, "Ow," they're in pain,
mhm.
and that's right you see Short Round walking to Indy, meaning that he just did something to them, maybe to disarm them or what have you.
Oh,
You don't see
this
you see Short Round escape, which was a great escape, by the way.
yeah,
When he escaped that mining area and pushed the henchman off the ladder, and from that, he grabbed onto the rope.
yeah,
That was totally Robin right there.
absolutely.
He comes out, sees Indy shirtless, and then he cuts to, like, pretty much where he's like, "Wake up," he before he burns him, like, and then Indy hits him, but again, those 2 henchmen are broke. So something happened there, I guess, wasn't good enough and was cut. Fortunately, I would like to see him because we see him kick ass. He does great
Yeah,
on that scene where he's kicking the guys and hitting them, and he's like like using a staff, and then he does a great self-defense move if you're ever being chased, is that when someone's chasing you and you're running away, and they're right about to get you, you just drop into a ball. And what happens, they just keep going and they trip because they can't stop because they don't know you're about to drop. And he does that.
That's true. He did do that. Yeah.
It's a great self-defense, especially on the pavement. And then he goes on top and he walks on top of the guy onto the thing. And you see the guy's like, "What the hell?" But that's pretty much all my nitpicks. Do you have any?
We already talked about the magic of it. I just didn't. The kids talk about once you drink the potion, there's no going back. You're stuck like this.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right round. Short. I want to
Did
call them
you
right
did
round.
you
A short round.
right, but okay, when that kid said, "I wanna die," what did that make you think of?
Super Mario Brothers.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god, yes. So I'm wondering now,
Don't
did
listen
they
to
get
him. He's been here
inspired?
too long.
But the thing is, did they get that inspiration from Temple of Doom? Because it's similar.
It is similar.
They're in cages.
It would have been
So
hilarious though. It would have been
right, but
absolutely hilarious.
because that kid's like, "I wish to die. I want to die." I was like, "Oh my god, this took a sharp turn." And he was like all smiling, "I'm about to die because I'll take the potion. I'll be dead, but not dead, but I'll be dead on the on the outside." I'm like, "Oh my."
Rays of darkness and void, and da 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 da.
I was like, "Oh, this
My
guy
favorite
deep,
character in that
bro."
movie.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, one, it was like easy to break. It's like just burn them in the stomach. Apparently, everybody gets out of it.
Well, he didn't know.
He got
Well, he took a chance.
he did it with
He
his
took a
niece,
chance.
and he did
Yeah,
it
I
with
know.
the little voodoo child.
Right, but well, by the voodoo child, he knew already. I think Indy, I
Just
don't know,
by
he
accident.
just yeah, I think it was by accident, or he knows that Indy, I love you, and then he did it.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Secondly, it always bothered me when they were going to do the Kali Ma thing for the second time, and he stops for the girl. And he goes, "You do it," and Indy just puts her in the thing and doesn't do the Kali Ma. I'm like, I want for a second, I forgot the movie for a second, and I was like, "Indy, are you going to do the Kali Ma?"
Okay, a nitpick for Kim
Okay.
is on the bridge, and
Oh,
she's like,
the rapping.
"No, no, not the rapping, it's after the cut down the bridge," which I thought was like, "Why is everyone surprised? He has the sword at the rope. Why are they surprised that when he finally does it?" And henchmen are dumb as hell.
They don't realize it's going to happen.
Well, no, right in front of them, you see he's wrapping his leg around the thing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and the other 2 are wrapping around. So, "Hold on, lady, we're going for a ride." Kim's problem was, like, after the bridge is broken and it drops,
Yeah.
Willie and Short Round just stay there. They're just watching instead of climbing and getting out. And also,
Cheering.
those henchmen are terrible shots.
They're like
They're
stormtroopers.
yes, another Star Wars reference. There you go. Boom, you call that one.
I think all that one.
Oh, they totally missed that one.
Well, here's the thing that got me about the bridge. Now that we're talking about it, yes, I get it. He chopped it. He chopped one rope. The bridge was attached by at least
Both
two,
ends.
if not by like at least two different ropes, if not four,
Mhm.
to make the connection.
There's a cable on the side he's chopping. Yes, there's rope, but then also there's a cable.
Yeah, but you see the other rope just separates too, right? In the same
Well,
on the
don't
other side.
forget. Well, don't forget, it does show that the bridge is not totally stable because 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 Short Round hops on it to show that it's good, but it's not good.
Yeah,
It's not funny. It can also maybe put it in a chance of physics because you have
yeah.
multiple weight on that bridge.
Manipulation,
And then when he
support.
breaks it, it's just the rope cannot support all that. I
Now,
don't know.
now here's the other part that I always had an issue with. He wraps his leg.
Yes. So he doesn't fall. How come he doesn't fall backwards?
Number one, it was a pretty poor wrap of the leg. Two hooks. My man, you're gonna fall right through. And then, secondly, he should be upside down,
Right. Well, no, I think he does
like a dive,
dive onto it, right. But still, like,
reflexes like a
it's like Ace Ventura.
head of a mongoose.
He goes that direction, but yes, but then you don't see him, like, try to get out of that wrap because he wrapped it up, like, 2 to 3 times.
It was two twists. He just
Okay,
hooked
2 so
he just hooked
right.
his leg like twice.
But then when we see him, he's, like, sideways on the ladder.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, "It's weird," but anyway, but I see it. That's a little more of continuity issue. But it isn't a good is it but it's a good nitpick. Is this worth a watch? Hells yeah. Is it worth to own? Yes. You're gonna have a fun time. Kim was enthralled. She was enwrapped into it. I was as well. Out of the trilogy, because the first trilogy does, the first three.
Yeah,
Yes, this may be the less of it. It's definitely not the Empire Strikes Back.
there's
It's
no
not
Return of the Jedi.
There's no Return of the Jedi. Yes. Oh, Return of the Jedi, where the kids are free,
Mhm.
and and they're beating up the henchmen,
You're thinking Ewoks?
Ewoks. They're throwing stones. They're throwing stones at them, and
But they weren't
the
wearing
guy
armor.
they weren't wearing armor, but they didn't have swords either. They had like whips. That's not gonna do anything a bunch of people charging at you and through you.
Oh, absolutely.
Those rocks would be a lot more damaging than the whips onto them.
Mhm.
That totally reminded me of Ewoks. Now, going back to the ratings,
Yeah,
the critics call it 76, gave it a 76 score. The audience gave it 82 score. I give it into the 90s still because it is fun. It is a prequel in the sense of like it does kind of honor what happened in the first film in certain scenes, but is also new in others. And going back to in the sense of religion, because he again, since this is a year before what happens in Raiders, he doesn't believe in the hocus pocus
yeah, he sees a bunch of it in this
in this, but yes, he's given a chance. He sees the power
movie.
of the hocus
Experienced
pocus.
it.
He saw the guy. He experienced it. He saw the guy take his heart out while the sacrifice is still alive.
He did the thing with the stones.
Right. For someone who doesn't believe in hocus pocus, is all there that he does.
Mhm.
So it kind of contradicts Raiders
A little bit.
in that aspect. But it is still to me for me in the 90s. What about you?
I agree. I will give it like a solid 90 for the longest time, and I've had arguments about this. I have said Temple of Doom was my favorite for nostalgia and a lot of other reasons, and people will be like, "You're a fool. Say what you will, but Temple of Doom is my indie."
They're both different films in many ways.
It's a complete like, to be honest, it all is almost a completely different feel of Indiana Jones
Hmm.
than in the first film. Because in the first film, there's jokes, but he's almost like majority of the film just deadpan serious, almost dark. It gets like super
He's
dark.
like he's like Han Solo
Yeah.
in A New Hope in Raiders, and in Temple of Doom, he's more like Empire Han, a little more laxed,
Hmm.
kind of for the still the getting the woman, and I think more like he's in the Last Crusade. He's more like Han in Return of the Jedi
Which we'll
because
find out.
which we'll do a review on that too and see how lax he is because you see it like he's getting more laxed with his company, more at ease or comfortable.
Hmm.
All right, guys, that is our throwback review of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Have you seen it? What was your favorite scene? What was your least favorite scene? Let us know in the comments below. If you have a movie or show you'd like us to review, please email us at talesoftvobros@gmail.com or leave a comment below as well. Until next time, we'll be the next time. I'm Angel.
Coming on.
Love you, bro.
Me too.
Not funny. You cheat.
I know cheat.
I may be small, but you're a big, big cheetah.